here to celebrate having 4 weeks off of work. I'll take a little ride. Nothing major, just an hour and a half or so. Weather's nice, and I guess that's a good thing, not having to go to work tomorrow. Is that I just felt like taking a ride in the evening and went for it. Haven't ridden the bike much in Sweden, so I brought it home with me when I moved back from the US to Sweden. And let me tell you that the process of importing a bike for someone who's never done it before, it takes time. And I still paid for some of the things that I could have done on my own, but just to know that it would work. And basically, since I'm moving back to Sweden, I don't have to pay customs or taxes on the bike, bringing it back with me, as long as I intend to use it, which I definitely intend to. And yeah, Harleys are a ton more expensive here in Sweden, but it's still not like a super deal to bring it with you home. I'm probably breaking even, which is fine, because I'm not bringing it back to make money. I like the bike. It was not like July 11th, I think, and I moved back from the States on February 23rd. They picked up the bike on the 20th February, and I think I had it ready to go, legal on Swedish roads, first week of June. So yeah, there you have it. I mean, obviously shipping takes a while. And then I think it took like maybe 8 weeks. Is that right? No, probably 10 weeks. And I live in Stockholm, and the bike gets shipped to Gothenburg. I didn't pay for door-to-door. In hindsight, maybe I should have. Not sure what that would have been though. Once it arrived in Gothenburg, obviously I have to pick it up. So I rented a van and drove down to Gothenburg, which is roughly 500 k's. Drove it back from Gothenburg, just went straight down, picked it up, drove back home. Nice 10-hour or 11-hour drive that day in pissing rain. And then I had the bike, at least, in the garage, which a friend of mine is kind enough to share with me. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have brought the bike back, because I have no garage where I live. So after that, you have to get it like approved, like origin approved. So I have to prove that it's my bike, I've owned it for at least a year, I've used it, basically proof of insurance, yada yada. Obviously I need the proof of ownership, like the title. But I had most of those papers, because you need those to go through customs. Otherwise they'll slap a big tax on you because you're importing it, you're not bringing it back home with you as a part of your household. That took a couple of weeks, and once you get that, you get basically an approval to take it to a checkup where they register it, so I get my own license plate number. Nice thing about bringing a bike with me is that it's kind of loose on regulations, because In the US, for instance, I can have red indicators. Not legal in Sweden. And I can also have, I think it's on a motorcycle, you can't have like dual purpose lights if it's an indicator. I don't know. So I have my indicators as running lights and brake lights as well. It's been modified to make way for some saddlebags if I would need it. And that's fine. I have a custom exhaust or a custom muffler on, which with EU regulations they've cracked down on hard. So if it's not registered with it, or if it's not OEM, you're gonna have to go back. Oh, sorry, my GPS is speaking to me. So if it's not OEM, if the cops stop you, they could slap you with a fine, and they'll say like, hey, you have to go to, well, I guess DOT approved, I don't know what you call it, but just to get it approved again for the road. And that costs, what, 60 bucks, something like that. I can ride the bike to and from that checkup, even like on US plates. So I rode it there on my Illinois plates, but I had to get like a basic coverage like in insurance, so just for accident insurance. So I covered the other driver, and if I have an accident, whatever, because it's by law in Sweden you have to have it. So you get a temporary one of those for just one day, which is pretty interesting. And not all insurance companies do it. I went to it through Gansa, and they did it. It was pretty simple once you get past their line of for the customer support. It took them 15 minutes and I was good to go. They just emailed me the proof of insurance, and it was all fine. And the guys that did the checkup, you could say they were they were into motorcycles. There are not many engineers that do these kinds of engineers that are allowed to approve a motorcycle. There's a bunch of different companies that does it, but basically I got a time. I had to wait for a week before I got my appointment. Had my insurance, went there, they approved it. We were pretty cool. I had to have like a I don't know, like a reflective piece of plastic on the tail, which I didn't have. So he's like, well, go next door and buy one. When you come back, I'll be done. So it was pretty chill. I don't think they didn't care much about the noise of the bike. And I mean, it's loud, but it's not that loud. It's not OEM, that's for sure. I don't know. I guess I'll put up here what it is. I can't remember the damn name of it. I think it sounds good though. Yeah, and then basically 3 days later I got my my title, my Swedish title for the bike, and my new license plates. And then all I had to do was to message the proper authorities that it's being used in traffic and it has insurance, and off I went. So that went really smoothly. But all in all, like, it took like, all in all, it took like 4 months. So I'm finally on the road with this thing. Love it. Going on a bit of a longer trip, 4 or 5 days. A friend of mine next week, touring parts of Sweden. So looking forward to that. It's going to be good fun. I've mainly been doing solo rides since I got the bike. So it's nice to have someone to chat to. We have some Bluetooth communication going on, and should be good. Getting on a tour. it's nice out here. Like I said, nothing super curvy or anything like that. It's just a nice cruise. And it being summertime, July in Sweden basically stops. Yes, everybody got their 5 week of vacation. I'm taking 4 this summer, but it's good enough. I'm saving something for when it gets really dark and miserable in November. It's a German app. It's fully in English, but I moved to Android. It's not super polished, but it gets the job done, and it's pretty good at finding routes. So this is my first test of it. The app is 105 Swedish kroner. I don't know. It's probably translated from euros. But as I said, like, you're better off. They have there's a curviger.de. People plan routes, you can export them, and then you just drop the file and you can download it from OneDrive or Google Drive or whatever, open it in the app, and there you go.